Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A little update from Ukraine here. Not only the fact that the Russians launched another major drone attack on Ukraine, but some political statements coming from the Russians regarding the advanced stage of communication between the Russians and Americans regarding the preparation of a meeting between Donald Trump and Putin, about what the Americans think about the Ukrainians' request for nuclear weapons. And this is imbecilic coming from the Americans. I think it's not double standard. I think it's triple standard. And we're going to talk about these, how should I call them, fantastic Russian drones that really cannot be, as of now, destroyed with the electronic warfare systems. That is, they are with fiber-optic drones, something that the West, we, the inventors and the innovators of this planet, where are you, right here, somehow didn't figure out, but the Russians did. All right, so let's start with the first article coming from Ukrainska Pravda. This is from Friday, February 7th, 2025. Russia attacks Ukraine with 112 drones. 81 downed, 31 disappear from radar. All right, so here is the evidence. They downed what? 81 downed, 31 disappear from radar. Right there, they're all the 81 of them. Russia launched 112 Shahed attack drones and decoy UAVs on various types against Ukraine on the night of 6 to 7 February. Ukrainian defense managed to down 81 drones, while 31 failed to reach the target. So that's 112? It's all done? I mean, 81 plus 31 for me is like 100 and exactly 12. So zero success for the Russians. Let's see what the Russians attacked. They attacked a few oblasts right here. Kharkiv, Poltava, Sumy, Kiev, Cherkasy, Chernihiv, Kirovohrad, Zhytomyr, Khmelnytsky, Zaporozhye, Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, and Odessa Oblast. Almost everything but this area, Rivno. So they stopped right here in the Polish part of Ukraine. They did Khmelnytsky, Zhytomyr, Kiev, Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv, Kaltov, Poltava, Cherkasy, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, Nikolaev, Odessa. So a lot of it, let's say about 80% of Ukraine was attacked. From what locations? So they did it from the cities of Kursk, Oryol, Milerovo, Bryansk, and Shatalovo. Now, Shatalovo for me is a new thing because I was always, this guy started from Kursk, Oryol, Bryansk, and then Milerovo showed up, then Primorsko-Akhtarsk, and Cape Shauda, and now we have Shatalovo. Where the hell is Shatalovo? Let me show you in the meantime where these four are located, and then we'll go to Shatalovo. We got north, Bryansk, Oryol, Kursk. This is from the northeast a little bit. Then we got right here Milerovo, where this weird thing is, right here. And then used to have Primorsko-Akhtarsk here, and we used to have Cape Shauda, right where my strong hand is in the Crimean Peninsula. So Primorsko-Akhtarsk and Cape Shauda here, Primorsko-Akhtarsk here. But not this time. Maybe there's a new location. Maybe because the Ukrainians claim they attacked something in Krasnodar here, actually Primorsko-Akhtarsk. That's what they said in a video I made yesterday, that hey, attack this, and they destroyed some airfield over here, the military airfield in Primorsko-Akhtarsk here, where you can see it. That's the airfield, military airfield, when it's like that. So let's see where this little town of Bethlehem is located. Shatalovo. Okay, let me see. Now here it is, the baby doll right here, Shatalovo, and we have right next to it a military airfield. So this must be it. There were some other towns when I searched for Shatalovo, but this one looks accurate, which shows like a military airfield. Empty, mind you. I don't find any airplanes or any helicopters here. Maybe they just use drones nowadays, and I don't know. But this is kind of all right here. But this is not. This looks to me maybe reconnaissance. All right, here they are, baby dolls. This is a MiG, old MiG, according to me. No, doesn't mean bam, bam, bam. Here they are, baby dolls. What are we doing here? This looks like a MiG or a Sukhoi. More like, oh, no, no, no. This is the 222, the bomber that has, I think, the wings that are folding, you know, White Swan. Maybe these are the same. Hey, we found it. Where is that located? By Belarus, my friends. Here, by Belarus, north of Bryansk. So let's see where this is in the big right there. So Bryansk is right here. So it's north. Let me show you on the other map, clearer. Right here, Smolensk, in this area. All right, let's move on. Next one. New Voice of Ukraine, the same information these guys provide. We find out about those fantastic drones now from Ukrinform. Enemy intensifies use of fiber-optic drones in Siversk sector. So fiber optics are the ones that these guys in the West have a problem in downing them with the electronic warfare system. It doesn't mean that you pop. You can't do that. That's probably, as of now, the only way. But these are very small drones. In Siversk direction, Russian troops are using artillery drones and armored vehicles in assaults. According to Ukrinform, this was reported by Bogdan Pantyo, head of the operational planning sector, Force of Freedom, Let's see. The situation remains tense in the Siversk sector. The enemy is constantly storming our positions, our front line. Its firepower is now at a high level, both from artillery and the FPV or drones with a drop, this guy said. According to him, the enemy has begun to actively use FPV drones on fiber optics to target the logistics of the defense forces, as well as mine the armed forces logistic routes. All right, so that is a problem for these guys, the fiber optic drones. I covered that a while ago. Well, when that's going to come to the United States of America, what are the guys in the Pentagon do? Take a shit. All right, next one. Russia Today. Trump envoy responds to Zelensky nuclear weapons demand. Well, Zelensky said yesterday in an interview, I think he was with Piers Morgan, that we either are part of NATO, which means we're going to get NATO into a war with Russia, or we get nuclear weapons, which means we're going to attack Russia with them. Why? He says for deterrence reasons. Now you tell me how deterrence, the deterrent factor, works for the Russians with NATO using Ukraine to, you know what I mean? It didn't work. So that means he wants to use them. I have a gut feeling. And as a free person on this world, I should be entitled to have a gut feeling. So let's see what the chances are. And this is very concerning what Mr. Kellogg has to say about that here. The chances of Kiev getting nukes are, and I'm quoting this guy, between slim and none. You know that? Slim and none? Now let me tell you this. Slim means there is a chance. It should have been the answer like 0. Why? Well, what if the Islamic State of Iran would say, you know what, we want nuclear weapons against, I don't know, the perpetual victims in the Middle East and all over this planet. You know who they are. What do you think the Americans will say? Or the Russians will say, if the Russians will say, yeah, the chances of Iran getting nuclear weapons is between slim and 0. What do you think the Americans will say? We're okay with that. That's a good deal. Yeah. Or what do you think Israel would have said about that? So you see, they already opened a little door. I don't think Ukraine will have any, will not be given. The Russians will stop that. I guarantee with all Russia's might. But the fact that it's a slim, remember, it's a slim chance, it's concerning. But still, remember that video Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey? At one point, Jim Carrey, whatever the character, goes to a pretty girl over there and he is in love with her. And he's a baboon. And he said, what are the chances of, wasn't him or the other guy? Nevertheless, I think it was Jim Carrey or the other guy. He said, what are my chances, Jim Carrey, of you and I being together? And she said, honestly, I think she said 1 in a million. And Jim Carrey starts celebrating. Yes, yes, yes. And she's like, what are you talking about? 1 in a million is like almost zero. And he said, at least I have one chance. So same here. There's one chance. It's a possibility. I have a chance right there. So slim. Now slim is not necessarily 1 in a million. Slim could be, I know, 10%. 10% is a slim. 15% is a slim. 20% you can call it slim. So that's a lot of percentages over there and odds. All right, let's see how advanced the discussions between the Americans and the Russians are regarding the meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and the American selected President Donald Trump, who's following some other people's orders, you know who. All right, let's move on. Russia Today. Russia Today, Reuters, Jesus Christ, you see, professional defect. Russia says US needs to formulate its stance on how to end the Ukraine conflict, February 6th, and we find out here, according to RIA Novosti, Russia's RIA state news agency earlier on Thursday quoted a senior lawmaker as saying that preparations for meetings between Putin and Trump were at an advanced stage. However, all right, and the same here, this is reported again by Reuters, preparation for Putin-Trump meeting at advanced stage, Russian lawmaker says. The sooner the better. I always, we know this is a new Potsdam meeting without the unimportant garbage like Churchill and so on. Don't get insulted. Churchill was as important as de Gaulle was for France. Remember de Gaulle, he walked first in Paris and when they liberated Paris, and he demanded to walk first. He entered and liberates on the Champs-Élysées, like skipping. Famous pictures with him and the French, oh les enfants de la. Okay, that's what he was. But actually behind him, the American, Canadian, and so on, Australian military came over to liberate it. So, you see, that's the same here. They talked about it. That's why the Brits did what? Oh, they helped big time. But remember what that evil guy said about the Brits. And if you really want to go to a beautiful video, go and watch Adolf Galland. Was one of the Nazi Luftwaffe aces. When he talks about his one-on-one meeting with that evil guy called Putin, Hitler, because Putin is like Hitler. So go and see what he says about the meeting and talking about attacking. Galland tells Putin again, Adolf, hey, what about attacking? Goering wants to attack this. What about attacking Great Britain? And Adolf's response is, stop. I don't want to hear about it. And then I dare you to go and it was not only by Adolf Galland, many people, and his statements are also over there. So they cut you some slack. You think the V1, V2 bombed you and blah. Yes, they did. He let you go at Dunkirk, right? So, and then Churchill advanced to the coast. Retreat to the coast. And then Putin, Adolf, stopped them for 48 hours until they got transferred. He could have fucked them up, the expeditionary corps, right there on the beaches of no problem, my friends. But anyway, there it is. So Churchill was pink. He was just brought over there to counterbalance somehow Stalin. Stalin did not give a shit. So these guys, the big dogs, the bad Stalin, the tyrant, the killer, the Holodomor, with his Kaganoviches, Yogodas, and all those in the field, cutting people and so on. With the other guys, they made a deal to get half of Europe. Remember, Poland, the Second World War started with Poland, right? And they started when the Brits and the French declared war to the Nazis for invading Poland. To save Poland, then they gave Poland to whom? To the Soviets. To Stalin. So that was a garbage. So if you know, let's say you're a parent, that your child would go to that house and could be in trouble, would you send the kid over there? No, you would fight it. Well, they didn't fight. They made a deal. So that's why right here is the same thing. Trump and Putin will make a deal. Everybody's going to say, yes, sir. Ukraine will be, and by the way, Russia will take everything. Will take everything. The Russians will fulfill their four goals for the special military operation, and the Americans will agree with that. I guarantee you that. And Ukraine probably will be a non-state. It's going to be owned by Russia with, some freedom, liberty over there to a certain extent. And they will organize elections, and a pro-Russian government will win always and forever until the Russian state will collapse. When the Russian state will collapse, these guys will go get at it again. Differently, coup d'etat, democracy, freedom in Ukraine, and then when the Russians are going to be caught by the balls, like they were under Yeltsin, then Ukraine will become again independent, that is NATO state and European Union member state. That's the future for you. It depends if Putin doesn't have a successor and the Russians lose their balls somewhere, rolling over somewhere. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.